I found a secret letter from my father saying that he was hiding a huge inheritance from my siblings, and I decided to reveal the truth, even if it cost me a heavy price. It all began one quiet night, as I was sorting through my late father's belongings. The house was silent, filled with the heavy scent of old books and memories that refused to fade. While digging through an old wooden chest, I came across a dusty yellow envelope. On the front, in my father's familiar handwriting, were the chilling words, "A secret no one knows." My hands trembled as I held it. I hesitated for a moment, but curiosity overcame my fear. Slowly, I tore it open and unfolded the letter. Inside, the words I read shook me to my core. My father revealed that years ago, he had secretly purchased a large piece of land under a false name. None of my siblings, not even my mother, ever knew about it. He admitted that he had kept it hidden because he feared that greed would tear the family apart. He wrote that one day he had planned to reveal everything, but his illness had worsened, and death had taken away his chance. I read the letter over and over, my heart pounding harder with every line. A fortune, a secret inheritance, hidden from everyone. And now I was the only one who knew. But what truly terrified me was the final line of his letter. If you discover this secret before I reveal it myself, know that your life will never be the same. The truth is far more dangerous than you can imagine. Those words echoed in my mind like a curse. Why would my father warn me like this? Was there more to this story than just money and land? And who else might already know about it? From that moment on, I realized this wasn't just about inheritance. This was the beginning of something much darker, and I was standing right at the center of it. After reading the letter, I couldn't sleep for days. Every night I would stare at the ceiling, replaying my father's words over and over. The warning he left haunted me. The truth is far more dangerous than you can imagine. But what could be so dangerous about land and money? I decided to investigate. I started by looking through my father's old documents, searching for any trace of this mysterious property. Hidden beneath stacks of unrelated papers, I found a folded map with a small red circle marked on it. My heart skipped a beat. Could this be the location of the land he mentioned? The next morning, I drove out to the spot. It was far outside the city, in a quiet, almost abandoned area. When I arrived, I found a vast stretch of land surrounded by an old, rusty fence. The grass was overgrown, the air heavy with silence. But what caught my attention was the sign. Private property. Keep out. The name written on the sign didn't match anyone in our family. It was the alias my father must have used. As I stood there trying to process everything, I noticed something strange. There were fresh tire tracks in the dirt leading inside. Someone had been there recently. My chest tightened. Was I the only one who knew about this? Or had someone else discovered my father's secret too? Later that night, when I returned home, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The streets felt emptier than usual, and every shadow seemed to follow me. I locked the doors, sat in the living room, and pulled out the letter again. That's when I noticed something I hadn't before. On the back of the paper, barely visible, was a faint scribble, numbers that looked like a code. It wasn't just a letter about inheritance. It was something more, something hidden in plain sight. I knew then that my father's secret went deeper than I imagined, and revealing it might not only change my family's future, it might put me in danger I wasn't prepared for. The numbers, scribbled on the back of the letter, wouldn't leave my mind. I spent hours trying to decode them. At first, they looked like random digits, but the more I stared, the more I realized they resembled coordinates. My heart pounded as I typed them into my phone. The location that appeared was only a few miles away from the property I had visited. I couldn't ignore it. The next day, I drove out again. The road was rough and surrounded by thick trees. Eventually, I reached a small clearing, and there, hidden beneath layers of leaves and debris, I discovered something I never expected. An old metal container, rusted but locked tight. It looked like it had been buried for years. I tried to lift it, but it was heavy. Too heavy to carry alone. I marked the spot and decided to come back later with tools. As I was leaving, though, I heard the snap of a branch behind me. My blood ran cold. I spun around, but the woods were empty, completely still. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching me. Back at home, I researched more about my father's past. I dug through old family records, business papers, even his tax files. Strangely, there were years missing, whole periods of his life with no records at all. It was as if he had erased parts of his own history. That night, I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, there was only silence at first. Then, a low voice whispered, "Stop looking." The line went dead. My hands shook as I set the phone down. Someone knew what I was doing. Someone out there wanted to keep this secret buried. Sat in the darkness, the letter clutched in my hand, and I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just about an inheritance anymore. My father had been hiding much more than money or land, and I had just opened a door I might never be able to close. The mysterious call never left my mind. For days, I lived in fear, checking over my shoulder, locking every door twice, and wondering who could be behind all this. But deep down, I knew I had to return to the forest and uncover what my father had left behind. Armed with a flashlight and a crowbar, I went back to the spot where I had found the metal container. My heart raced as I dug through the dirt and pulled it out once more. This time I pried it open. Inside, I didn't find gold or stacks of cash. Instead, there were folders filled with documents, photographs, and letters. As I flipped through them, my eyes widened. My father had been involved in secret business deals, transactions with names and organizations I had only ever heard in whispers. It wasn't just inheritance he was hiding. It was evidence. Evidence that could ruin powerful people. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. I froze. Turning slowly, I saw two men standing at the edge of the trees, their faces shadowed, their presence heavy with threat. One of them spoke coldly. "You shouldn't have opened it." In that moment, everything clicked. My father hadn't hidden the inheritance out of greed. He had hidden it to protect us. And by digging too deep, I had exposed not only myself, but my entire family, to dangers I could barely understand. Clutching the documents, I realized I had a choice: run and protect myself, or fight to reveal the truth my father died keeping. And as I stood there, my father's final words echoed in my mind. "The truth is far more dangerous than you can imagine." And so, our story comes to an end today. But in the world of Max fables, every tale carries a lesson and leaves an impact. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you won't miss our upcoming tales. Here, where stories come to life.